Okay, we got to look at these graphs and it wants us to tell them what kind of graph it happens to be. So we got a little swirly bit here. Now, I didn't make them the typical. The typical one you would see is like this, but I sort of put a little spin to it. What is that? Well, that is when you and I do something like this, a cube. Okay. So this is going to be a cubic is what this is going to be because we raise it to the third power. So this guy is of the graph, the cubes. Let's look at the next. Ooh, what is that? That's a parabola, which is of something like y equals x squared. That is a quadratic. Okay, it's a quadratic equation. What about this? When we start at a point, we shoot that way. Well, we've seen that before. That's when you and I do a square root. Okay, that's a square root, is when that guy happens. Next, the V. Who's the V? He's our absolute value. So it's like doing something like that. And this guy's been moved around a little bit, but it's an absolute value. As soon as I see a V, absolute value, boom, pops in my head. Now, what about this guy? This guy's a little different. This is called a rational. Okay. And it happens, and we've looked at this before where we have an asymptote here, and there's actually one here also. This is happening when you and I have a division. Okay. And we got the x down in here in the denominator. So this is called a rational function. And finally, what about this guy? We actually looked at this guy before. Okay. He is when we had that square root, but remember we put a little 3 in there. Okay. Remember when we made them odd in there? And that is a cube root. Okay. That's a cube root. So there we have those. We just have to recognize them. Then we're going to learn about shifting them up and down and left and right. And that's what we work on next.